Let's take a look at an example in your textbook on solving systems of linear equations. So on page 254, exercise 7, we're looking at a word problem where we're told that you have space in your garden for 55 small flowering bulbs. Crocus bulbs cost 35 cents each, and daffodil bulbs cost 75 cents each. You have a budget, and your budget only allows you to spend $25.65 on these flowering bulbs. So the question that you want to answer is you want to know how many crocus bulbs and how many daffodil bulbs can you buy on that limited budget. So anytime that you're solving a system and you have a word problem, you want to follow a couple of steps. The very first step is to identify and label your unknown variables. Since we don't know how many crocus bulbs we're going to buy and we don't know how many daffodil bulbs we can get on our budget, those are going to be our unknown variables. So let's label them. Let's call C the number of crocus bulbs, and let's call D the number of daffodil bulbs. Okay? Now, because we have two unknown variables in this problem, this means that we're going to have to write two equations. So our system will consist of two equations and our two unknown variables. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and use the information that we're given to write our two equations. So I'll call this equation 1 and equation 2. So equation 1 is going to involve the value of the bulbs, and our second equation is going to involve the number of bulbs. Now, how did I know to come up with these two equations? Well, it's based on the problem. So notice the information given to us in the problem is we're given some information about the number of bulbs that we can have in our garden, and we're given some information about the cost or the value of the bulbs. So that's where we're going to write our two equations from. So let's start with the value of the bulbs. We don't know how many crocus bulbs we're going to buy, but we know that they cost 35 cents each. So we can write this as a formula. It's 35 cents for every one bulb that I buy. Okay? And then I know that I'm going to also buy daffodil bulbs, which cost 75 cents per bulb. Okay? And we know that together we're going to spend no more than $25.65. So however many crocus bulbs and however many daffodil bulbs we buy at the cost per bulb, right, it should add up to $25.65, right? Now the second equation is going to involve the number of bulbs. So we don't know how many crocus bulbs and we don't know how many daffodil bulbs we're going to get, but we know that together we're going to end up with no more than 55 because that's all that our garden can have. So there are your two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Now the third step in this problem is to pick a method. I'm going to pick the augmented matrix method, and I'm going to show you how to use your graphing calculator to solve this system. Okay, so to use the augmented matrix, we need to write down our augmented matrix. And remember, the augmented matrix, you're just taking into consideration the coefficient. So we're only concerned with the coefficient in front of our variables. Now here you don't see it, but the coefficient in front of C is 1 and the coefficient in front of D is 1. And then we're going to take a look at our constants. So this is your constant. Okay, now I'm going to set up my augmented matrix so that my first column is going to represent the crocus bulbs. My second column is going to represent my daffodil bulbs, and my third column is going to represent my constant. All right, so let's write it down. 0.351, 0.751, and 25.65, and 55. Okay. There's your augmented matrix. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our graphing calculator and we're going to row reduce this into echelon form. And then that will give us a solution. So remember, that's C, D, and this is your solution. So we're going to have some kind of matrix that's going to look like this. And then now we're going to try and figure out what these values are. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video here, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to do this on your calculator.